Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
Experience.
Oh, yeah. It's a post show.
Post.
As always, with tradition with the Post Joe, we like to read off new Patreons. Give a shout out for the support they're giving. This week we want to celebrate Gavin Holzegal. Gavin Holzegal came in out of Brian Callen. Whoop whoop from the boys.
What? Way to go, Brian. We were waiting for you to finish, man.
Oh, well, last week I had to say stop, everyone. And
Okay,
then
sorry.
big
I'm
shout out
keeping
to
my mouth shut.
Harvey Osborne came out of Brendan Schaub.
What
up,
Harvey? Thank you,
Welcome to the
Harvey.
crew.
Thank you, everyone on the Patreon. You guys are the fucking best.
It's unbelievable, and we are unbelievable.
But thank you, everyone who even listens to this stupid podcast, because frankly, to have to put up with this nonsense.
But thank you just a little bit more to the Patreons.
And if you didn't listen to the whole episode, merch this week.
Yeah, merch. That's
and if you're on the
fun.
Patreon, depending on what level you're on, you get a discount on said merch. Merch.
But yeah, we're starting off, like Maddie said, on the regular show with only our logo.
Yeah.
But soon we'll try and get some other crap up there
Stop
for you.
banging that fucking mic.
We'll
around,
get this
Sam.
off the ground just like everything else in an orderly fashion.
Also, Simon, that sale, that code's only good for a certain amount of time, right?
It's only good for 6 days. Like, she keeps pushing on not wanting it to be there forever, but I'll iron that out with her because I would just like that to always be there. I think.
Karen on her ass.
Or maybe not. Whatever.
Just for Patreon.
I don't like committing to anything. That's the Jew talking.
Okay.
But yeah, big moves. And thank you, everyone, for your support and your continued support.
Okay.
All right, now that we're done with the business end of things, what the fuck do you
Just
guys
hold
both
on,
have
hold
such
on,
a hard
hold
on?
on a sec before we do that. Just before we do that, I
would like to tell the listener something that, I mean, I guess Kamara and I didn't have much of a relationship outside of this podcast, but it's really ruined Simon and I's relationship doing this podcast.
Green room?
because we never get to talk anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great, but it didn't ruin our relationship.
Yeah,
Come
you're
on.
right. We didn't have, Simon and I weren't even actually
Oh
good
my
friends.
god, you're hilarious.
We know I'm not that.
I'm a home wrecker.
Just before we get to all the juicy part, I guess last week I interrupted Kamara a lot during his delivery
Thought diarrhea?
of the.
Delivery of what? Without interrupting
I
you.
for the first time in a long time, I re-listened to our episodes this week,
Okay.
and I listened to the post Joe.
You wanted to hear yourself storm out.
Well, I wanted to see that
Because it's mumbling the words?
but just at the beginning, yeah, I guess I sounded a little harsh in my
No, you guys keep me honest.
whatever of you, and just
You've
whatever.
been reading comments, Simon?
No, why were there comments?
I'm asking. It sounds like you read a comment.
don't read anything.
Wow,
anymore.
I'm touched. Thanks, Simon. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah. Okay. We'll end it there.
Can we just get to the fucking
Yeah.
juicy shit
So-
that you guys want to talk about?
I had one thing I forgot to say. At the beginning of the James Lindsay episode, they talked about elephants.
Okay.
And Joe went in depth about his thing. And I just was reading an article about 300 elephants have just died in Botswana in the last 3 months.
That's sad.
It's crazy, eh? After the way he described what a cool, sort of connected animal. And was it you guys who showed me what the elephant foot looks like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, elephants are crazy animals, man. Like their whole system is amazing. They can send vibrations through the ground that the other picks up
communicate.
from miles away.
I wanted to mention that before we got bogged down in the racial discussion, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And now we can get to the juice.
What are we doing here? Let's play a game.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Will you guys?
Here's the game.
I can't believe he
I'm
doesn't
going to
know.
tell
He
you
just-
right now that this morning somebody announced their run for 2020 presidency. Who is that
Oh my
person?
God! I love that there's 8 billion people.
It was
on Earth.
right after the podcast, actually. Last night it happened.
Oh, it happened last night?
Yeah. And you have no idea who we're talking about.
No.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you this too.
I'm just going to pull my
This-
phone out.
No,
and
no,
Google
hold
it.
on. This
No, I'm just
person
gonna ruin it.
announced
I'm
and
just gonna
right.
ruin it.
Okay, it was Kanye West, and right
who
away
gives a fuck?
Elon came out as like his support.
Yep. Kanye West is running for president,
This is a joke.
but he could win.
No, he couldn't.
What? He has a right to win just like anybody else in the race.
What does that mean? He has a right to win, just like
What?
anybody else.
If
in
he
the
wants to
race.
spend the money and run
Yeah, go nuts.
and get enough people to vote for him,
Not going to happen.
Is it impossible that this is a scenario that Kanye is simply doing this so that he'll get a bunch of people to support him and then give that support to Donald Trump by dropping out and endorsing him? And through this,
Hold on, is he running as a Democratic candidate?
that's what we don't know. I assume independent, or it could be a troll.
could be a troll.
We have to
Yeah.
be on the front line.
Actually,
Hold
it
on.
definitely could be a
You
troll.
guys are forgetting that for the last 8 years, Kanye was saying he was going to run in 2020.
I think he said 2024, but he's now amended to 2020.
And what makes Elon get behind him?
That's what I asked myself. And then I was like, okay, well, what if this is a scenario where this is all just to somehow get Trump votes? And Elon, who can't support Trump outright, can certainly support Kanye. And this all just kind of fits in because back to my whole thing about them sending these satellites to space to then shoot a hologram down of this giant asteroid. He's really in deep with NASA right now, which means Trump has been funding him for the last 3 years as he's been sending these like he is in deep, but he can't say he's working with Trump because he's this super liberal kind of progressive Tesla green energy guy. Dude, I'm telling you, we are starting to see they're letting us see too much through the cracks, you know?
All I know
I'm
is
telling you, this is nuts.
Kanye West is on fire. I mean, who knows how much he's going to make from that Gap deal? And maybe he has enough money that he thinks he's just going to go balls out and do this.
Simon, do you want to move that mic stand so it makes sense? It's
it's
totally
art.
it's
It's art
totally
right
in
now.
the way of your face. Like it's blocking the camera. It's a real nightmare. Just slide it back. No. Take the whole stand. Move the stand back. That's
so
how
you
you
just
do
think
it.
Kanye announcing his run for president is just a troll and is going to go nowhere?
Okay, let me ask you 2 questions. Do you give Kanye West any chance of becoming president of the United States?
I don't think so.
Okay. Then let's ask an even crazier question.
Why is he doing this?
If he became president, what platform is he going to run on? What you can at least maybe say Donald Trump was a businessman, and somehow
Businessman.
a businessman,
That's his last name. Trump. Donald Businessman.
Donald businessman,
Sorry.
which I still don't think makes you qualified to run a country, but some argued it did. What has Kanye West done other than make beats and rap? That he's obviously, first of all, this guy begged, if you remember, 2 years ago, begged Mark Zuckerberg for $400 million on social media.
Did he get it?
I don't give a fuck.
Oh.
That's not what I want in a leader. Someone that's gonna just when shit hits the fan.
That's all they do is ask for money.
Fine, fair enough.
I think it's made
It's a true story.
exciting news.
What does that mean? It's a true
It's
story.
not just on TMZ.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
I mean, what's a true story anymore? Once one thing picks it up, the rest of them just pick it up, and that's how we know the news cycle
I
works.
just meant I had only seen this in one place, Matt, so it could have been I was just
Gotcha.
being April Fool's.
And it does
you know?
definitely display the power of Twitter. Because he tweeted this, and now he's running for president. Like it's not like you have to fill out a form.
Well,
and there's
one
some
of these
document.
articles was even saying, has he even filled out any of the necessary paperwork, or is this just like Independence Day? He got drunk and announced.
I
that
thought
he
what sold it
wanted
to me was it was in Forbes, but who knows what that means.
Who knows what that means?
So Matt's unimpressed with Kanye's run. Me and Simon.
Oh, the guy, the hunter who we didn't give any time to at the beginning.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Aaron Snyder.
Aaron, yeah.
I thought I should mention because he was a really tough guy. He passed a kidney stone by himself in the
In
woods.
the woods, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
that
yeah,
would
he-
be enough to bring any mortal man to their death.
But okay,
He's tough enough.
It asks again, why? I don't know. It's fine. I mean, he is one of those guys, just mind over matter. But you're passing a kidney stone. Don't you think it would just be safer to maybe just trek back and end the trip there? Not spend another 8 days out in the woods just because you can.
Then they were talking about people who got hit by lightning
Yeah.
in that episode too, which I thought they talked about a guy who got hit by lightning, or maybe I saw this somewhere. He got hit by lightning twice when he was alive. And then his tombstone got hit by lightning. Like, what the fuck is that all about?
The lightning wants a piece of that.
Some
ass.
people are just...
That's a piece of that ass.
sorry, so you want to talk more about Kanye, Kamar? Like, that was
Well,
it. It was just big news. He's running for
I
president.
thought,
Hey!
I thought Matt was going to be excited,
Yeah,
but
me
it's like,
too.
whatever.
I hate Kanye West.
Like a cool teenager. I love Kanye.
I find my theory the most interesting part. This inadvertent Tesla or Elon backing of Kanye to Trump. Like,
It's
what
the
is
only thing,
going
it's
on
the only
here,
thing
man?
I can cling to.
Well,
at
we
this
all
point.
agree that we don't think he's really going to win, right? So, but people said the same thing about Trump. So who fucking knows?
That's
man?
where
Let
I'm
me
at.
say this.
I'm at that starting line.
Let me say this. If Kanye West wins, that is the end of the empire. That is the final straw. That will be the thing that they look back on amongst many things and go, this was it. This is the undoing.
And then the other big thing that happened, Ghislaine Maxwell got arrested,
I saw that, yeah.
Huge.
which
Betting
you
pools
would
are
think
out.
would be
So
a
that means,
huge
though,
thing.
Does that, but now I didn't read, did they get her somewhere else, or she's been in the States the whole time?
They got her in New Hampshire.
So she's been in the
living a
States the whole
mansion
time.
Someone said she was in Paris last week.
They said she was all over the world, but she's been in that fucking mansion. She didn't fly anywhere. They
That's
would
what's
know
interesting.
that. She's been here the whole time.
Under their
They've
nose.
known this. No, fucking no, man. This is really weird, okay?
It's crazy to think that she probably watched that documentary from the States
For sure. For sure she did.
probably the same day we did. She was looking at the painting like, she has it.
You know what the charges they have her on?
Go on.
They're really just one charge, and it's inciting minors across state lines in the hopes of prostitution or something like that. And that charge ain't shit.
All you gotta do is cast out.
And she'll get bail. Like, this is weird, man. What's
Well, what's
going on
really-
now is weird.
What's really ironic is like when they have drug charges on someone, there's never one charge. They throw 50 charges at you.
I thought she had 3 charges.
Possession with intent to distribute.
No, sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No, it's
You're
insane
absolutely
that they,
right.
And they do that so that they're like, well, we can't make all of these stick, but when we make half of them stick, you're going to fucking jail.
What they're
And they
doing,
would only come forward with a case if they had that.
what
money.
they're doing, Maddie, is they were very certain to only the case that they're talking about only takes place between like 1997 and 2004 or something. It's a very specific amount of time that doesn't include, Bill Clinton. It doesn't include the Prince. Like it's very clear to not have those people involved so that whatever happens, their names never even get mentioned. And then they give her these fucking insignificant charges where they had her on like legitimately her herself doing the rape. You know what I'm saying? Like, this charge is nothing.
She's not charged with that at all.
Not zero. So unless this is the only way that this makes any sense to me is if she is spilling her fucking guts and we're about to get like the list and everybody's going down, because if that doesn't happen, this is just another stupid cover up. It's another Princess Cinderella deal. Like, what's his name? Acosta gave him last time. Was it Acosta or Barr?
As I was saying to you,
Either
it was
way.
Acosta, but in that situation, he had some sort of, I don't even understand how they do this, but everyone is covered. A bunch of people get immunity.
Yeah, I don't
for his
understand that at all.
deposition.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And she might be covered under that, they're saying. So what
I don't
seemed
think
like
so.
something exciting, exhilarating, you think it's going to be a complete nothing burger.
It's either a huge something burger, like it's all going to happen right now,
All the way that works.
or it's a huge nothing burger. But what is interesting is a lot of pictures have surfaced of Trump and her. Like, I know Trump and Epstein didn't have a lot of shots together.
Enough.
They did, but a lot of her and him. I don't know if that means anything. You know what I mean? But
What do you think, Maddie?
'Cause-
I know you
'cause
really don't think, but
he released...
I don't think.
about
thanks.
it. No, the conspiracy story.
Didn't Trump retweet a picture? No, Trump's son retweeted a picture of Ghislaine at Hillary's daughter's wedding. What's her name?
Chelsea.
Chelsea's wedding. And right there, as she's walking down with Bill to the aisle, you see Ghislaine. Okay? He's in tons of pictures with Trump. Is in tons of pictures with Ghislaine. You know what I mean?
The craziest thing is that her profession is a socialite. Like, you go to school to learn how to be that?
She was her father. I listened to a whole thing. You should really listen
The
to this.
newspaper and Mossad.
Their whole family, she has like 2 sisters and a brother. They're all like tied into this. It's pretty gross, man.
If she dies in custody or anything,
Oh, she's
see
going to
that coming?
commit suicide like
No, she'll die of COVID.
Thursday of next
Well, that's
week.
convenient.
Oh, COVID's perfect. But then I said, why didn't they just kill Epstein of COVID? But that was too early. But this will make sense.
the
Yeah.
question is, why was she kept alive all this time?
Well, hopefully it was because she was being protected by the FBI from the CIA. And now she's going to give up everybody.
So she's protected by them, and now they found out that their protection may be compromised. So we've got, it just doesn't make
I
sense.
also heard this before I heard this new interview where I got all this information from. I heard that she was being tried by a separate organization that takes care of it when a political figure is involved. So, like, I guess it happens on a federal level, maybe then on I don't even know. But that it was insinuating that some powerful people are about to drop, you know?
This sounds like one of those, like I was reading a case about an undercover DEA agent trying to buy drugs off an undercover FBI agent. Mm-hmm. It sounds exactly like that shit.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst. There's no communication clearly when that happens.
You're under arrest. No, you're under.
Well, we
Put the
were
fucking gun down.
saying, was it you and I who were saying, because the CIA bad.
I
Are you
agree.
asking me CIA
Yeah,
bad?
well, he knows what I think.
I'm telling
I
you.
agree.
what I
CIA
think.
bad. Yeah.
CIA bad. So I guess if the CIA is bad, then the FBI is good.
No, I wouldn't.
No, they're both bad.
wouldn't-
Everybody's bad.
I think the CIA is worse globally.
There's got to be some faction that's fighting the CIA within the government. You know what I'm
Why
saying?
does there have to be that? First of all, why do we create?
because
why do we
otherwi-
create? Why do we create sections of the government that need to be?
Otherwise, Maddie, the CIA would just run totally amok.
It is running amok.
But even more, like
We've established it's amok.
Again, this sounds like we've got a problem with the frogs,
Yes.
so we got to bring in a couple of llamas.
Yes.
Yeah, now we're overrun
of
with fucking
course.
llamas.
Matt-
Maddie,
That's the
I think
simplest way to
that I
describe
think that's exactly what happened. I think so. You had a government, and then all of a sudden, the CIA was made to take care of the things that the government didn't want to get their hands dirty with. But then the other side, who wasn't in power, was like, holy shit, well, we have to have a counterbalance to this group that's going fucking nuts and killing everybody. So let's make, I don't know, something like the FBI. So they make the FBI to keep the CIA in check.
But we
And
know
then
that's
they're-
not why the FBI was created.
Well, maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. Whatever.
Okay.
And then the FBI kind of gets out of control. So they're like, oh, shit, well, we got to take, we'll make, who's the one who takes care of the country?
National Defense,
What do you mean?
Paycheck Act.
What do you mean? Who takes care of the country?
Just whatever. Like the...
Well, the FBI is supposed to look after
Domestic.
They're domestic. Yes,
no,
it's
but
the
who, after 9/11, let's say, the...
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security was created. So they're created to do the checks and balances on the FBI, let's say. And then you need a group to keep checks on the... And then, like Matt said, it's spider eating fly. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, again, it just seems like all just people trying to create jobs.
Do you think
Maybe.
this Ghislaine Maxwell is a nothing burger?
How could she be nothing? I don't know.
Do you think she's going to die? Or
If she doesn't die, I don't think she's gonna. Listen, if you guys think that her being caught is gonna release some mass amount of information about some child pedophile ring that's been,
Yeah.
you're dead wrong.
And if that doesn't happen,
That's all we can ask
hey,
for.
Kamar, if that doesn't happen, if this, like, I'm really afraid that then we're all wrong about why Trump is around.
And we can just go on and talk about they. Oh, the jig is up with him, but we have to continue. They will can get anyone, and they are still out there.
Hold on.
Well, then
hold on.
who's
Hold
fighting,
on. Hold on. Hold on.
Who's
Wait.
fighting them is the
Are
question.
you still in the boat of Donald Trump is fighting a pedophile ring, a worldwide pedophile ring, and that he's emptying out the swamp? Is that where you're at?
Well, emptying out the swamp is a weird, like, forget emptying out the swamp, but I would.
But you think that Donald Trump, hold on. You think that Donald J. Trump is aware of an active pedophile ring
yes.
that is worldwide?
Yes.
And you think he is behind the scenes trying to fight it as the president of the United States of America?
It's the only thing that makes
I
sense.
gave you my theory just the
Where's
other
your
day.
papers?
It's like you
Give
don't
me your-
even.
give
It's
me
like
your
you don't
stack of
even
papers.
listen to
You
me.
want- show
Give me
your
your
work.
stack of papers.
It's like he doesn't even listen to me.
Show your work.
I'm out.
Oh no! There's a couple things I got to talk about that
We can't just end everyone
should it
by
be so.
somebody walking
Well, you
out.
can, but it's sort of interesting, and I try to throw the homegrown spin on it. Pizza. It's come out. Have been working with the police. Police go to them and say, "We have this phone number. Is this connected to any name?" Without any warrants.
Wow. So don't ever order pizza.
Isn't that
again.
crazy? That just came out.
Okay. Well, I'm done with pizza.
Because pizza, and they say there's a warning where it says, if needed, we will give your information.
Oh, later. Later.
When do you agree to that?
When you listen, if you have the app or whatever.
No, but when would you agree to that in real life?
I guess when you call, you give your name. I don't know. I don't know what you agree to, but it's come out that the police have been taking phone numbers and asking Pizza. Do you know who name goes with this?
What's crazy to me is that some cop was sitting around and was like, "Do you think if we went to Pizza and just asked?"
He probably had a cousin who like owned a pizza franchise. And
maybe.
was like, "Hey, Louie,
You can step back from the evilness.
Do me a
and
favor.
admire it for like it's good
I don't know
detective
why he's
work.
from New
but
Jersey.
Pizza shady deals.
Mm-hmm.
And then in other news, you guys still want to talk about Pizza invading
no,
privacy?
please."
England has just banned 5G technology.
Wow.
Do you think that's like folding to madness, or they know something?
It's one or the other.
You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, Kumar.
Citizens have burned down the towers. Okay, forget it.
It's literally one or the other. And actually, you know what? Okay, this reminds me. So that brings me to a great story that comes out of the UK. So they had this, speaking of statues, they had this statue in, was it Scotland? Let's just say it was Scotland, because I don't want to sit here and get bogged down by the bullshit semantics. Someone kept putting a pylon on the head of this statue to the point where it would cost the city thousands of dollars every time they had to take the pylon down. So the city finally put in an ordinance that they had to just leave the pylon there. So there is something to what you're saying about the madness where, yes, they do and will succumb to the madness. We know this. But it could be the other thing. So I'm telling you, it's either one or the other for sure. It's either they absolutely know something, or like you said, the people have just gone mad and they're like, well, what are we going to do?
We can't
we
keep
can't
building
fight
towers.
madness. Yeah.
And that brings me to, have you heard of the two Stevens?
No.
So Canada arrested a Huawei executive.
Yeah.
For an extradition treaty with the United States, which is weird. Like, we've been holding her, you know what I mean? She lives in some mansion in Vancouver or whatever, but I don't know why if we just arrest her, just get past him over.
Because we don't want to give her to the States, but we also don't want to give her back to China.
And in the meantime, China arrested two Canadians.
I knew about, yeah.
Executives, both named Stephen.
I thought they already had them.
Well, they think they're spies, right?
No, but I think they already had them, and now they're trying to use them as leverage to get her back. And Trudeau is saying, if I let her go to get the Stevens back, then any time that somebody has a problem with us, they're just going to kidnap some Stevens, and I'm going to have to acquiesce each time.
Imagine if they only kidnapped Stevens.
Yeah, well, it's always Stevens.
it's
Two
just funny
dudes
how the
named
news
Stevens.
calls them the two Stevens, but you think he's doing the right thing?
I don't know, but that's the argument.
Yeah,
First of all,
that
the
is
U.S.
argument.
the U.S. has a firm policy to not negotiate with anyone. So if you take a U.S. citizen, they're like, that's fine.
With terrorists.
Yeah. But with it, well, I would assume that anyone that takes a U.S. citizen, they consider a terrorist at that point. But you see what I'm saying?
I see
So
what you're saying.
Through this story, there came up when there was a hostage situation, Trudeau refused to pay the ransom and they killed the guy.
Yes. But do you... So
wait, so they killed the Stevens?
No,
No.
the two Stevens right now are on the
They're
trade
locked up
block.
Let me
for
turn
the
that
Huawei.
back to you, Kumar. You are the Prime Minister of Canada. Okay. We're holding the Huawei lady. The two Stevens are now on the block. What do you do?
For diplomacy with China, I would trade him.
Yeah, but what about with the scenario that I just gave you? What's going to happen if tomorrow Iraq comes and wants to, you've now shown that that's what you do.
I don't know if life works that way. I mean, I understand the theory. If you do this, you got to do everything the other time. But I think that's closed-minded.
Well, I just think it makes it look. You just look weak as a country at that point.
Well, we are weak to China, though.
Yeah, that's fine, but then
But
let's
not to other
But let's
countries.
not be weak to China. Let's be like, listen, yeah, you have two Stevens and
But
we have
it's
one
not
of yours.
even about China.
By
It's
doing that, we just say business
it's
open to
it's
fuck
about
with us.
whoever, pick a country, Switzerland, who decides, you know what, Canada ain't shit. I want fucking Ontario, and here we go.
Part of it is not understanding what the Huawei executive is charged with,
Or how valuable she is.
why we stepped
espionage.
in, whatever. Unless we know what exactly
Well,
that means.
the weird part is that the United States asked us to not let her go back home, right? That was the whole thing. We had to detain her. But the Canadians were like, and again, I don't know anything about anything, but I thought they said, well, we'll detain her, but we're also not giving her to you. You know what I mean?
doesn't make sense
you
at
don't-
all.
You don't get to have the prisoner just because you're telling us that you want her, but we also won't let her go back to China until due course has her trial has done. I don't know.
Doesn't
I
that
think
sound
that's
messed
what
up
it is.
though? Well, we're sticky up for her human rights.
If we don't do
on account
that,
that the Americans might be doing something shady.
then Trump attacks us. I
But
guess.
that's
Like I don't
because
know.
that's because we know that the U.S. will hold people without due process for any given
So
time.
maybe
as
we're
lo-
doing the
under
right thing. I
under
don't
the
know.
guise of terrorist acts. They will do that.
and
But
then
isn't that like the same argument as no, I guess whatever.
we don't care about the two Stevens. It's just tough.
No,
to
of
do
course
boys.
we care about.
No,
the
you're not
two
saying.
Stevens.
I don't think they're not mutually exclusive. By saying we won't trade, you're not saying we don't care about the two Stevens. You're simply saying the greater good is far more important than the two Stevens.
So neither of you guys would do the trade.
Nope.
I think that if I was prime minister, I would have to remove myself, like Matt is saying, and say, if I could kill Hitler, one person to save a million, well, then I have to do that, Mm-hmm. If I had a time machine, that whole argument.
I mean, listen, it's terrible for the Stevens. Obviously, I wouldn't want to be held in China.
No, but I also,
Our country's split on this issue.
why are the Stevens being held? They're just reporters. And
Espionage.
No, they
got,
believe they're spies.
espionage.
They're being held.
Whatever
on-
that means, that's what my
No,
problem
no,
is. The
wait,
big-
that's what China is saying. But
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I'm just telling you what. Listen, I mean,
Canada only knows what China tells them.
yeah,
No, right. But we're not saying that they were.
no.
Obviously
But what
not.
I'm saying though, Simon, is if they were spying, then I guess they're being held appropriately. But again, we just have to go off what
What does
fucking
that mean
China tells us.
exactly?
Yeah, they could have just been two dudes taking fucking photos. I picture them, Kamar, like the two dudes in Narcos, just having dinner in that restaurant.
Oh, unbeknownst to them, it's a bad
Yeah,
day.
that's yeah.
It is important whether they were arrested before the Huawei, because one of you guys were saying that, and then they've just, okay, fine, we have these guys.
Kamar's
But if
right.
they got
I mean,
arrested after,
that makes a big difference. If they were arrested before, then clearly they were being held on some sort of suspicion of something.
I think they were arrested.
So that's
before.
different, because
they
if they-
didn't arrest them in retaliation.
See,
I
this
don't
is the
think
thing.
That's the case.
If they do it in retaliation, it's totally different. If they were holding them, then maybe these guys were up. Listen, we have to admit, we probably spy on China.
Yeah,
we
if-
all spy on each other.
If they did it in retaliation, that's a totally different argument. I'd have to then rethink my position.
Yeah. Yeah, of
Because
course.
then we look weak anyways if we're not like China. You can't fucking do that,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can't just arrest two Canadians abroad because we
because
held
we-
one of yours.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder
But
if they're in.
if these guys were spying, which again, we probably have spies over there.
And they definitely have spies here.
Of course.
A million
I lived in
percent.
Vancouver.
1,000,000%. You see that bear? That's from China.
Bum,
It's been
bum,
spying
bum.
on you this whole time.
That's a Chinese bear?
Yeah, it's a panda.
His name is Guaylo.
You've never seen a panda before?
I've never seen a black panda.
Are you colorblind?
Maybe.
Do you know how many men are colorblind?
You can't see that is clearly black and white?
Are you pointing at me?
Black and white? No, the bear.
No, I cannot see it.
Must be like a blue dress, green dress thing.
Kamar might be colorblind. Well, no,
That's
black
black and
you should
white,
be able
or-
to see. No, it's all black.
No, and
He's saying it's
white.
black and white.
It's a panda.
No, he's just fucking with you.
Okay, that's what I thought. No, I fucked with.
We could have done that for a couple minutes at least.
Whatever. Seriously though, do you know the percentage of men that are colorblind? It's very, very high.
And yeah, have you seen the videos of people putting on those glasses and seeing?
Oh, it's
color
always
for the first time?
heartwarming.
And
Yeah.
all dogs are colorblind, I think.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
all dogs go to heaven.
I believe that.
That's true.
I believe that.
Do you think they
I
go to
believe it's
human
goats.
heaven or do you think they go to their own heaven?
I'd hope they go to their own heaven.
But then what if you
Free of us.
that means you don't get to have Chico in your heaven? That doesn't make any sense because how
But
would
I've
that
always,
be heaven
hold on.
without
I've always
Chico?
found heaven weird anyway. Let's say Keanu Reeves, who lost his wife at like 20,
Yeah.
gets remarried,
Yeah.
lives the next 30 years with a woman.
Yeah.
When he dies,
Yeah.
what happens when he
What?
gets up there?
What do you mean?
Well, he's been in love with 2 women, and one of them died while he was
they
in love. It wasn't-
probably just all live together.
All spirits
And
live
there's
together.
no jealousy because you're in heaven. So it's just like you get. Listen, the more. No, that doesn't.
It's
I
one-
mean, maybe. Who knows?
No, that doesn't.
It's one.
I was
going to
say that doesn't make sense, but does heaven have to make sense, Matt?
I
No.
guess not.
One energy love force. That's all it is.
That's what you think.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we didn't talk about. They talked a lot about DMT in the Russell Peters episode. Every time they talk about DMT, I get a little closer to the door, you know?
But DMT, not ayahuasca.
Definitely not ayahuasca.
Don't you have to puke for
I
hours?
have
on
a huge
ayahuasca?
aversion to puking.
And
Like,
shitting your pants.
oh, and I
I don't mind shitting my
I don't
pants.
like shitting my pants, but I'd way rather shit my pants than puke.
You'd rather shit your pants than puke.
Well, I'd rather have diarrhea than be vomiting. That's what I'm saying. Listen, you don't have to
Fine.
shit your pants, Matt, during ayahuasca. You can just shit on the
It can
toilet.
happen, though.
But yeah, the same way you
Yeah,
could
get it.
puke in your sweatshirt, but usually you don't.
In your sweatshirt? Simon's like, "Ugh."
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to find the equivalent to
I
shitting
got
your
you.
pants.
Yeah.
Like I
I
think
was at a
what
house. I was at a house party once, and this girl was drunk. Oh, I'll never forget it. She's got the sink running. She's splashing water on her face. She starts throwing up in the sink, and I guess she's just so drunk she doesn't realize. And then she's reaching into the sink, grabbing spoonfuls of her own puke and water, and splashing it back on her face. Dude.
Well, remember the story I told you about when I was backpacking. I got really sick from the Pizza Hut,
Yeah.
and I was in the toilet, puking, shitting. So I was just puking right on the floor and shitting in the toilet, and then that's when I walked out. People were waiting to come into the bathroom.
Don't go in there.
There was no way to clean that. You know what I mean? And the way it was imagine this is the door. Then there was like a lip down here. It was like an elevated door,
Holding it in. For a
holding
little pool of
everything in, a huge pool,
puke, or
man.
lava, as it were.
Yeah, and probably a little bit of diarrhea too that was spraying out from the toilet bowl.
It's crazy that the guy that has to clean that up makes minimum wage.
I would have done it if I could have. I was so sick, man. Like I thought I was gonna die. I probably had COVID way back then.
I wanted to give my recommendation for the week podcast. Theo Vaughn had Diplo on.
Oh, they seem like 2 peas in a pod.
2 peas in a pod, but Theo toned himself down out of respect because Diplo's from Mississippi, so they're both Southern boys or whatever. So he can't.
Yeah,
Theo
can't-
looks extra weird and fake.
Yeah.
Trying to lay it
Trying
on
to play
thick.
up his southernness, yeah.
But it was a great discussion. It was very interesting to hear the kind of music he likes and what he's doing. I think he's one of the coolest artists, producers there is. Underrated.
I don't know if you guys
Is he
got.
underrated?
I don't know. He's not full of himself, but
Yeah, but underrated. He's fucking huge. He's super rich, and he has a massive following. I don't really see him as underrated.
I think he's getting into music.
Fair enough. He's getting into cowboyism.
Right now, yeah, he's full country.
Yes, I know he is.
It
Yeah.
was very interesting, that whole discussion. Anyways, that's my recommendation for a week on the podcast. What podcast would you recommend this week?
I thought we were supposed to recommend Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah. I just
That's
have mine.
usually what we do.
Okay.
It's Kamar's Corner.
Fair enough.
But this is for this week.
You really co-opted this post, Joe, eh?
I think it was given to me.
All post Joes you co-opted.
Bestowed.
Interesting that you look at it that way.
Well, we all do.
I don't think we do.
I
We're
don't
just
care.
having a good time, and Matt doesn't care. In any event, which podcast would you recommend this week?
Host Kamar, I would recommend.
It's Master.
Oh, shit! I don't think you want to go there.
I would recommend Freese. Freesey.
Yeah,
Freesey?
me too. Freesey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'd recommend Lindsay.
you would recommend Lindsay.
Fair
think
enough. Listen, it was a close. They were both great. I would suggest listening to both of those episodes. 100%. You can.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say if you're not into specifically bow hunting or really into hunting, do not listen to the Bow Hunter and Russell Peters. I mean, buyer beware. Whatever.
It felt more of a normal week, though, just talking about issues or
Just
something that.
normal, yeah.
The fact that if you have something, a book to sell, so be it. But
Yeah, and I definitely think that
Who's gonna be on this week?
Elon is up to no good.
you think Elon is
So
the
now
love
you've come to-
child
now
of
you've
I've
come
come
to my-
full circle on Elon. I was like thinking.
Because don't
he
forget,
was
I
the
said
savior.
this. I said this a while ago.
But now that I see how tied in this guy is with fucking NASA, and then it's weird. He's weird, man.
I said this to you quite some time ago,
Well,
Simon.
good.
I said we should be watching out for
We
this
should
guy
be
than
watching out
more
for
than
this
we're
guy.
revering him.
And now, because I always thought he was that was weird, right? I always thought that he was an alien, which I still do. But now my origin story has totally shifted from a good narrative to an evil narrative.
He's a
and
Werner von Braun love child out of
offspring.
South
But
Africa.
he is a star child, and that holds true. He's not an alien. He's half alien, half.
But you think his intention is negative?
Well, now that I see that he didn't. So he went on Joe Rogan. Okay, just as an example, not too long ago, he failed to mention that he worked at all with the United States government. Didn't he?
He should put that out there.
Of course.
By the way, Joe, just so you know, I work with the United
By
States.
the way, Joe, I'm doing all this cool stuff with NASA, but everything is done just like as a grant through SpaceX to make everything seem like it's all his idea, and they have no part in sending up 221 satellites into space, and then all of a sudden, they're just showing me videos about how close asteroids come to the Earth. Whatever.
You think NASA is bad?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Did you have a feeling on NASA?
I mean,
I think they
I
got
think it's
co-opted
weird.
after World
I think
War
it's
II.
very odd that Simon feels that they did land on the moon, but he doesn't trust NASA.
Well, I think Werner von Braun
Yeah,
got
but you know they landed on the moon post World War II, right?
after Operation Paperclip.
Yeah. So, but again, this is my point: is you don't trust them after World War II, but you do believe they landed on the moon.
Well, because I think that they were dealing with information that came from the aliens. Like, they definitely made it to the moon. Look, maybe it is possible what Kamar is saying. Maybe we do live on a flat Earth. I didn't realize that was his contention, but maybe we do.
Is that what your contention
And this
is, Kamar?
if you believe in the
round.
firmament, which Kamar is saying that it's a dome that we're running into, and after that dome is heaven.
What's it called? I think I heard it. The
We're
Van
living
Ryan belt?
then-
Is it the Van Ryan belt?
Maybe the
There's
Van.
some sort of thing that
Yeah.
we're supposed to.
No,
not
the
be able to-
Van Allen belt.
Van Allen belt. Thank you.
That we're not supposed to be able to get through.
I don't know. I can't go that far, but that would be technically the.
But
firmament.
you think that like there's space, but then it just stops.
I have no idea.
I'm trying to get out of you where you're at because you've mentioned the firmament a bunch of times.
Well, because he mentioned the firmament.
Werner von Braun
Exactly.
on his tombstone.
Exactly. Why? I don't know. Now we can speculate. And it's game on. If you can answer, he was being facetious or
Well,
whatever.
I was just going to say, do you think
Changes
maybe it was just
everything.
some crazy angry crowd who has some last ditch effort?
Or
was
maybe
like,
that
maybe
was-
fuck with the Americans.
First troll.
Maybe that was just
First troll.
his idea that this is heaven now, you know? That's.
It could be interpreted
But
any
you're
way
right.
you want.
Maybe he just knew.
Also,
But
hold
again,
on.
that
maybe
doesn't-
someone else wrote his tombstone.
Yeah, it's just an assumption that,
That
was his
doesn't-
last dying wishes. That's written.
I'm
there.
just saying, someone could make me a martyr. Let's say I shoot
Yep.
to the top of
Oh,
something
totally.
and then I die. Someone could just put whatever they want on my tombstone.
Absolutely.
And then for the rest of the time, people are like, oh man, Floyd really lost his shit at the end because of what he wrote on his tombstone. Meanwhile, I'm some dead guy who's like, I didn't
Yeah.
fucking believe that.
Your final quote is, I hate Jews, you know?
Yeah, when really I was like, oh, I love the Jews.
whatever, but they can
Yeah.
do anything you want.
No, it'd
after
be
you
more
die.
like, I don't know about Jews. And let's leave it open-ended.
Yeah, leave it uncertain. Yeah. Why did he mention the Jews when he left? Yeah.
But we know how he felt about Jews.
Anyways, what were we just talking about?
Talking about wrapping up this post, Joe. It's been it's gotten hotter since we started this podcast. today.
So much hotter. It's weird to think that Werner von Braun, like, it's weird that you could be like such a serious Nazi and then just overnight, like, Werner, how was your day? Like, well, you know, it was okay. Couple of kikes at work, but could have been worse. Like, how do you just go from being, I murder 5 of the slowest Jews every day in front of my fucking factory to like, well, now I'm just working at NASA 9 to 5, show up with my
Status
briefcase
quo.
every day. I have an egg salad sandwich for lunch.
Yeah, I mean,
It's fucking nuts.
wasn't
Like,
quite like that. I think the guy had the full run of the joint, and he was like a superstar.
no, so he was like, listen, no Jews.
You foresee him being
Okay,
No,
fair
I'm being
enough.
totally serious.
you
Fair enough.
foresee him being canceled then. Somewhere down the road.
Werner von Braun, I would fucking hope so.
But what do you mean canceled? There's no like,
Like if there are statues of him at
but
some
there
point,
aren't.
they should come
I think
down.
the point though is like, other than that fucking Apple thing that I told you about, I've never heard of him in popular culture ever. It seems like they've tried to bury him.
Well, there's probably good reason because they don't want to admit to Operation Paperclip.
No, of course
Imagine
not.
if the public knew that they went, like if the majority of people knew that they took Nazis to get us to the moon.
But let me
That's
ask you
a
this, though.
fucking
Hold on.
narrative they don't want played out.
Well, yes and no, though. Let me ask you this. Let's say they grabbed 5 Nazi doctors, and 10 years after they grabbed them, they cured cancer
It's
or
yeah.
5 other things. Like,
Maddie, I bet you
Yeah.
that things that we got after World War II,
sure.
a lot of them are because of those people they grabbed.
Sure.
Those guys were so far advanced in, well, rocketry, in all sorts of different areas.
The Germans still are. They're insane at engineering.
Well, look at engineering, exactly.
He has
like,
a couple statues and busts that could be taken.
Where?
really? In the States?
At NASA, I bet.
It's a big one in front of a building that looks like NASA.
Yeah. See, so that I could make
pretty
that my
ugly.
mission if you want. And I'll do it diplomatically to start, and then we'll see how long it takes me to want to tear it down with my hands.
Simon, I don't care. I'm just
No,
saying, though,
I-
it should bother you as a Jew that they have a statue of that guy.
It totally does.
Keep in mind, too, like,
It's called the Werner von Braun Office Complex.
Yeah, that place should be burnt to the ground.
Or just the name changed.
No, but I mean, they should definitely change its name. 100%.
So, okay.
Nothing should be named after
I've been
that
asking
guy.
that for weeks.
It's fucking crazy. That is crazy.
We'll see what happens.
I wonder why this isn't like a bigger deal.
Because shit we talk about isn't that big deal.
never is. I'm too hot to do this
Yeah,
anymore.
no, we're done.
Are we actually going to storm off, or are we actually... Can we
You
just-
want me to storm off?
No, I was hoping
You
we could just...
storm off.
I
this
want to
week.
storm off, but I can't
No,
go
I was
anywhere.
hoping we
You
could just...
didn't like that I said that Trump could be trying to bust a pedophilia ring. I'll remind you of it. Storm.
I just can't... I cannot believe that that's honestly, like... That's where you're at.
I think that is a conspiracy theory. I think that's the only way that I can at all get my head around him being fucking president.
I mean, if that's what helps you sleep at night, then cool.
And listen, the second that I'm proven wrong, I have zero.
But this
Zero
seems,
to say
this
about
seems
this
like
guy.
one of those, like, if you can prove that God doesn't exist, I'll give you $1 million thing. Like, how would I prove that
What
Trump...
if Maxwell spills the beans, takes a bunch down, and it's Trump takes credit for it? You just won't believe he's just taking credit for it. What if? Just what if?
That's what I'm saying.
But how do we give Trump the credit for... That's my curiosity to you. How would you give Trump credit for it?
Well, just she spills the beans.
But hold on.
She got brought to justice.
But she's been in the States for this long.
No, but
They found Osama bin Laden in a cave just about as quickly.
because they've been hiding her, Matt. If that's the case, if Trump is, we're protecting her like
just
a
a
witness,
hypothetical.
Sure.
and now they're bringing her in. Like the witness protection is over. We're bringing her in. She's going to testify. She's going to bring everybody down. We have to keep her safe. We can't put her in the prison because she'll get killed.
So if she gets killed, do you not then start to think that maybe Trump has some involvement in this?
Nothing's off the table if she gets
Absolutely.
Because that's what I'm
Or
starting. Because like you would have to at that point
not
think
only
that, no?
not killed, Matt, but if nothing
just
comes
gets
of
off?
this, then I lose all faith in Trump. Not that I have any faith in him, but just in the idea that he could be this guy trying to take down a pedophilia ring.
But
This
this-
is the last chance.
I haven't heard him even say anything about this publicly, which would also lead me to believe that he's not out there crusading against this.
The scenario could be she spills the beans, they all fall down, and then they explain how it happened.
Simon, think
That's what
about
I
this
found
too.
out.
Let me point this out to you. This guy's an ego fucking maniac. They just caught this woman. If he had some involvement or thought that she was actually running an international pedophilia ring, do you not think he would use that as some sort of distraction right now or as a win for him at this exact moment?
I think that the people, like I said last week, I think that the people who came to him, the group that came to him, possibly, this is a theory, came to him and said, there's no way you're going to be able to run on this fucking building the wall bullshit. Here's a way you can go down in history as the most famous president ever. You have to bring in Epstein. You have to bring her in. I guess now they're reformulating the plan because Epstein got killed under his nose, which is why they've been hiding her this whole time, maybe. So, and they say to him, look, but you can't use this. You can't use this for anything because nobody can know about your involvement until after the fact. And as soon as this is done and as soon as we have the names out there, you will get the credit for it and then you will win the election. This will all happen before the next election. If it doesn't, this guy has nothing to do with this at all. And that theory is totally wrong. And he's just a piece of shit.
Which he's already always been.
Which he's already a piece of shit, but he has no, like, there wasn't even a chance that he was trying to stop the pedophiles. And at that point, I think then maybe he's just involved in this whole ring somehow.
I just,
on
to
rock
me,
at the
like
free world.
he rubbed elbows with them for so long that it's tough for me to believe that he's now all of a sudden like,
Well,
especially for a guy considering
that
that they have him on camera being like, I mean, I'd fuck my daughter if she
Listen,
was my
can
daughter.
I just want to throw something out
like
there.
associating
okay?
Rogan with
so,
Talia.
So Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and some other guy apparently during like the 80s were like tight and they were all out like in the bar scene and they were, getting women and all of that stuff. And I mean, look, if for some reason this is possible that Trump wasn't into like the young thing people that Jeffrey Epstein was veering towards at that point. It's possible there was a split between them there. That deal that they talked about with the real estate, that could have been the split. Like, who knows? Listen, it's possible that Trump is a totally gross guy who, like you said, maybe wants to sleep with his daughter. I don't know, but who likes hot women, but maybe not young hot women. You know what I'm saying? And he's just not into. Some people in high up places have to not be into that shit. I hope.
Let's hope something comes of this. That's all I want to say.
Okay, that's
it
a post
has
show.
to.
It's too hot.
Yeah, we're done.
We're
I'm
done.
sorry, man.
No, it's fine. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
I hope you're cooler than we are in both ways.
This
I
is your
like,
show,
I like how you
man.
did that.
Are you gonna say anything?
Oh, thank you so much for listening. Keep on rocking the free world.
What are we, Nardwar?
Keep open your eyes.